From all corners of the globe to your ears, it's the Midnight Movie Cowboys. Sometimes informative, sometimes controversial, but always unpredictable. It's the Midnight Movie Cowboys podcast with your hosts, Hunter, John, and Stu. And now, on with the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Midnight Movie Cowboys. I'm Hunter in Texas, and joining me in the Rocky Mountain High of Colorado, getting ready to rob a house, is Mr. John Grace. Say hello, John.
Yo.
And joining us from the open-air prison camp of Australia, we have Mr. Stuart Balk. Say hello, Stu.
Hi, y'all. This
So,
place is like a prison.
so before we get started into our topic, you want to show what we got this week and whip out your junk?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Stu, you go first.
All right. Did have a couple of things until about an hour ago when I got package in from Nez. So
Uh-oh.
maybe a bit more. So first off, there's this Bruce Lee Fist of Fury t-shirt I got.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Mm-hmm. So in from Nez is The Odd Couple season 1.
Hey.
Yeah. The Odd Couple season 5, fifth and last season. What else we got? Oh, Welcome Back, Cotter season 1, which this thing goes for a fortune. Do you understand how much it goes for?
Yeah, I remember. They didn't release any other sets, did they? I think they just released the first season.
No, they released all 4 seasons.
Oh, they did.
But those things now individually are a small fortune. And if you're to buy the box set, I think it's about $100 US. Goes for $90 US. So not cheap. But there's that. Oh, you sent me Yes, Prime Minister Series 2. Oh, I forgot, sorry. Some Japanese film called Kamikaze. I think it's Japanese.
I don't know that one. I would assume it's Japanese with that title.
Yeah.
It's probably
Actually, no, I think it's
pro-suicide
French.
combat.
No, it looks like it's French. It's got some French names in there.
Ah,
Michel
Oh,
Galabru, Dominique Lavanant. But the cool thing is, in there is the disc Kamikaze, but there's a second one, which is Song of the South, which I didn't know. And last one, this is very cool. This came out in 2013, then got deleted by Umbrella, then re-released last year. It's this on DVD, Pacific Banana. It's an Australian sex comedy from 1980. It's pretty much the last of the sex comedies done by John Lamond, known as the sort of filthmonger of Australian movies from the 70s and 80s. Stars Graham Blundell, who was Alvin Purple, obviously. Robin Stewart from Bless His House, who played the son. And Deborah Gray, beautiful Deborah Gray.
so that director's not as classy as Bruce Beresford, right?
No, or no, he's not. But he
Peter
makes no
Weir.
bones
He's no
about it.
Peter
He goes-
Weir.
Yeah.
He's a smart monger. He goes, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, there's no
Because Bruce-
expectations put on me with my film, so who cares?
Because didn't Bruce start out making those kinds of movies, like the Alvin Purple stuff? Wasn't that Beresford?
I think that was Tim Burstall, actually.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it's Tim
Well, Beresford
Burstall.
may have been-
He was respected years later, I think, or made respectable
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah. But Beresford, I would have to look up because you got me thinking now. But I think Tim Burstall's name is attached to Alvin Purple.
Oh no, he did
But,
Barry
um,
McKenzie. I'm thinking of with.
Oh, yeah.
Beresford.
Okay.
Right. There you go.
That
yeah.
horny Australian comedy. Damn
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was getting confused with. And then he goes on to do
Yeah.
Driving Miss Daisy and King David.
Yeah.
It's Richard
Oh,
Gere.
Richard Gere.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
and he did what was it? Breaker Morant. That was a good
No,
movie.
that was pretty.
No.
That was a big deal. When
Yeah.
that came out over here.
I've never seen that, and I heard it's a pretty damn good movie.
Breaker Morant's a good movie. Yeah.
I gotta
Never
check
seen
it
it.
out.
Yeah, it's really
Never
good.
seen it.
don't see too many movies about the Boer War, you know?
Right.
No.
Never
Australia
seen
moved
that. Never
away
seen
from that
Gallipoli.
stuff. Yeah, Gallipoli. See, I was going to say, since Gallipoli came out in, what was it, John, 81?
Yeah. Yeah. 81.
Yeah. Since Gallipoli, then it started moving, the Australian film started moving away from the, sort of sex comedies.
The fun stuff, the
All the fun stuff.
bloody
yeah.
action, and the
You went to Gallipoli, into Breaker Morant, into stuff like, what was that? Oh, shit. The Odd Angry Shot. But I think that was earlier in the 70s with Graham Kennedy.
yeah, that was like 79, I think. Odd Angry Shot. 19. I have that on Blu-ray.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm supposed to review that for a website or magazine about 6 years ago. I'm still going to write the review. Turn it in.
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah.
Although we can always cover it on the show if you want to, because I think it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it's not on Blu-ray here. I've never seen it.
Yeah, Synapse released it in this country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. But that's it for me.
All right, John, what about you?
I got something. I actually got it in the mail a few weeks ago, but finally opened it, started watching it last night. It's called The Good Life. It is
the British show?
Yeah, 1975 British sitcom. Over in the US, it was aired under the title Good Neighbors on our PBS stations, apparently. I had never heard of it, came across it as a recommendation from Amazon UK, and looked into it. I said, I'll check it out, and bought it for a good deal, and started the first episode last night. I was absolutely stunned. This has to be the first sitcom I've watched where the characters are intelligent. They're not buffoons. They're actually funny because they're so smart, and they're kind of outwitting each other in a strange way. But it's surprisingly well written, very well acted. I'm looking forward to watching more of it when we're done recording, and dig into the second episode. But I like it so far. I think it's pretty good. Region 2, of course, for our American, for the few listeners that care about checking out British sitcoms of the 70s. It's been sort of my thing.
It's good that it's Region 2, though, because it gets people up their ass to go and get a Region 3 player. In 2022, you should have one by now. There's no excuse.
Yeah, you absolutely must have one. You just, forget about it.
God, we got a player here, a company here that has a player out there. The company's called Laser. They're like a lower end model, but it plays every region DVD out of the box. You can change the Blu-ray regions. It even tells you in a piece of paper inside the box how to do it.
Right.
Yeah, so there's no excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
None.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, it's a light week. I just have one thing. I got this from Kino, Journey to Shiloh, starring James Caan. It's also got, it's written by Gene Kuhn, and it's also got, what's his name? Harrison Ford in it, and Jan Michael Vincent. And it was made in 1968. It's a Western.
Wow.
That's it's a pre-stardom Jimmy Caan. Really.
Oh yeah, he's got top billing, but it's one of these kind of crossroads of old Hollywood and new Hollywood, I guess, movies. But I just saw it on the shelf. I was going through a movie trading company, and I went, well, this looks like a gem, so I picked it up.
You never know.
And it's about like guys kind of on their way to fight for the South at the Battle of Shiloh or something, so yeah, it looks like it's pretty good. Don Stroud is in it, but yeah, I saw a screenplay by Gene Kuhn. I went, all right.
All those Star Trek scripters, I think, had pretty busy film work.
Yeah, he was one of the main writers on the original Star Trek series.
Is that the movie trading company that we went to, the one near your old place, or is there another one?
There's another one closer to where I am now. It's not as big as the one where I took you. That's the best one. That's the flagship. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's one a little closer to me. It's a little more convenient, but I still go to that one when I can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
But yeah, so the movie we're talking about this week is new to me. I had never heard of the Carry On series of films. I know Stu's eyes just got huge. Never heard of it. This was uncharted territory, blind spot for me. And the movie we're looking at today is Carry On Cowboy from 1965, starring Sid James, Kenneth Williams, Jim Dale, Charles Hawtrey. And yeah, so this kind of blindsided me. Has this been something y'all been wanting to talk about for a while?
Oh yeah.
It's actually funny because the listeners are probably thinking, "Oh, Stuart's picked another one." No, actually, this was John's idea to go with the Carry On movie, and we were talking just after last week's recording, and we were up in the air about Carry On Screaming or Carry On Cowboy, and then we decided, well, Carry On Cowboy has Sid James, and while Carry
Didn't
On
want to
Screaming
do
is the
Carry
better
On
film.
Emmanuel.
Yeah,
I can't
it's
get
not
through that one.
good. I'll get
it's
into
pretty
all the
bad.
carry-ons. I'll get into the carry-ons.
I was looking at the other ones and I went, Carry On Emmanuel. Is that a serious thing or is it like a porno spinoff?
Oh, that was the tail. That's literally classed as the real last Carry On film from 78. There is Carry On Columbus from 91, I think it is. And it's known as the absolute stinker in the series. And the Carry On films do have some not so good ones. Carry On Columbus I saw it in the theaters, and I went with my brother and I think I made it 2 of ours, and we were just like,
So what's
this
the
is
story
not good.
behind this series? It's a movie series. It's not a TV series, but it's wildly prolific.
oh
There's
yeah,
a lot of these.
They'll cranking sometimes 2 of these out a year. They got to more towards the sort of 60s. They started just putting out 1 a year, but in the early days, because this is 65, and I think this is the 11th Carry On film by then, and they started this series, if I'm not mistaken, in 56, was it, John? 57?
Yeah, it's like in the mid 50s.
It
It
says
was like, and it was like a dramedy of sorts, I think, when it started.
I see 58 on Wikipedia.
That's
Okay, well,
that's
there you go.
about correct.
So they cranked out 10 movies in 7 years before this one. So they'll knock 2 out a year. And as John mentioned, they are sort of dramedies, the early ones. John, remind me, what were the early ones? Were they made by Warner Brothers or Rank Arena?
I think they were made by Rank, and
Rank.
they were basically producer Pete Rogers, sort of his project, and the director, what's his name, is Gerald Thomas.
Yeah,
Gerald Thomas.
He directed like most or all of them, I believe, and it started out as like dramedy, and then I think the audience responded real well to the comedic aspects, and they sort of increased. It turned into a spoof series. It evolved into that. They were good at reading the audience and seeing what they wanted, and I would guess, basically from watching like documentaries and such about it, that it was probably the most popular British comedy series of all time. I mean,
yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
And they're mildly known in the U.S. If people grew up in big cities, they may have aired on television, like on UHF channels. But it was sort of like, it's still very obscure and unknown to most U.S. viewers. Some baby boomers might remember them.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of these. Like, these completely missed me.
I'm stunned that you had never even heard of. Not seen, I can understand, but not even heard of. Yeah. I mean, if you were to live over here and say you'd never heard of a Carry On, you'd be like, oh, what? You know, they are very, very popular here still.
Oh,
Very
still.
popular. Oh, yeah. I mean, they still get a frequent run on television.
And they've got the same stable of actors in most of the movies, right?
Yeah.
Like, I noticed Sid James, I saw that he was a mainstay, and he kind of reminds me of what Leslie Nielsen would become later, like kind of plays it straight, but he's really funny. Like, I love the opening of this movie where he walks into town. It's like Fistful of Dollars or something, and he walks up, and these 3 dudes walk up, and he just shoots all of them, and he goes, I wonder what they wanted.
Yeah. But you did have your mainstays in here. Sid James would drift in and out of the series because he was involved with Hancock's Half Hour on television as well. So his availability would determine whether he could be in the film or not.
And he's funny, but that guy could have been a tough guy actor and you would have taken him seriously.
He started out as that. He started out in crime films and Hammer movies and such, as like in straight roles.
He could have been like a Gene Hackman type or something, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure. It's just he had the ability to be funny as well as straight dramatic actor.
Yeah.
But, I think comedy suits Sid James more. He's you've only got to see him in Bless His House to know that he's a very, very funny individual, and also all the carry-ons. But I think Bless His House is really where he shines the most.
Yeah, we
That's
watched
his
that on an
vehicle.
episode.
Yeah, we did that a number of years back.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, that is a series to get your hands on from the UK.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
you'll
funny.
be. John, have you got that series yet?
I've got the entire box set. I'm about halfway through it. So
Yeah.
there was a routine where I was watching an episode at night, and then I kind of fell off of it. And I want to get back into it, watch the movie, which was a Hammer Films release, by the way. But and watch the film version and watch how the series ended out. I don't think it ended until he died or something. Like, it was so popular.
Yeah, I know he died on stage. Like literally died on stage, just dropped dead.
That's how you want to go.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, Kenneth Williams was more the mainstay actor in the 31 films. I mean, 31 being the last being Carry On Columbus, which he already passed on by then in '88. But of the 30 films that were available to him, he did 26. So he's about the most prolific of the lot. Some of the others would drift, like Charles Hawtrey, who played the the Indian chief Big Heap in this. He eventually got thrown off that Carry On troupe in '72 due to his severe alcoholism and just a very unpleasant person as well.
So he wasn't acting in this movie.
No, when he was drunk in this, he was probably drunk as a skunk for real.
Like he's like demanding fire water and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
Well, they had a temporary star break out of the series, and they actually tried to make him a star in America. It was Jim Dale, because Disney signed a deal with him, and they did some comedy westerns and the original Pete's Dragon, and they always emphasized Jim Dale being in the film. They were really trying to turn him into a Disney star when Disney specialized in live action comedies and such in the 70s. Unlike the live action comedies they make today that are called superhero movies, but
stuff like with the movies they made with Sandy Duncan.
Like
$1 million duck.
That thing, like, they owned the family matinee business back in the 70s, and Jim Dale was one of their stars.
They all had what's his name? Who's the guy who would be in all the Disney comedies? He was in like
Ken Berry or Ken.
What's his name? He was in like the Ugly Dachshund. Dean Jones.
Dean Jones. Yeah.
Dean Jones was in all those movies. I love
Jim Dale. They were trying to turn into like another Dean Jones type.
And Jim Dale's still alive, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, he's one of the last. Him and Angela Douglas, who plays Annie Oakley in this, she's still alive. The rest we've both Sid James gone, Joan Sims, Kenneth Williams, Charles Hawtrey, Peter Butterworth. They're all moved on.
I'm also seeing here that Jim Dale narrated the Harry Potter audiobooks, so I don't like him anymore.
Hey, got to keep working.
Yep.
Hey,
Hot Lead and Cold Feet was not a franchise at Disney, so
yeah. Digby, the biggest dog in the world. This has got to be a Disney movie.
Yeah. No,
it's British. It's British.
A British attempt at doing a Disney movie.
The biggest howl ever unleashed. It's got. Oh man,
that's Boris Johnson right now. That one looked like a Disney movie, but Bob Crane did one of those Disney movies too. Oh boy,
probably in between making like homemade porno films with
Contrary to what the Schrader film implied, it was actually a hit.
Yeah, the Schrader film made it look like he was, that was like an embarrassment or something. It's kind of like even though this is a very good movie, it's kind of like in Hollywoodland when everybody's laughing when George Reeves is on the screen. They're like, "Oh, it's Superman!" It's like, no. Like it reinforces this myth that you like were incapable of doing movies if you did television, you know?
Yeah.
Autofocus is a good film. I like that.
Oh, I liked Autofocus. I watched it with my mother-in-law who actually met Bob Crane. She went to go see him at one of those dinner theater things and said he was very flirty. So,
Oh, really? The hell you say? Who would have thought?
yeah. But yeah, so we watched it with her, and you know, it's little R-rated to be watching with your mother-in-law, but you know, it was just interesting since she met him. You know, here's a movie about him getting murdered.
Yeah.
He's speaking of like with Bob Crane, Sid James was very much a ladies' man.
Really?
Very much.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I can see that.
Oh yeah. Very well known. I mean, he was married the whole time, but I mean, his affair with Barbara Windsor was not, everyone knew about it. It was no secret.
I see here he was married 3 times, so.
And also would take some of these carry-on gigs because his gambling was just out of control. He was just losing money hand over fist.
Oh, so he's like, what's his name? Chico Marx. You know?
Exactly like Chico, yeah.
Sid needed the money.
He needed the money.
Yeah, no, he some of these he just took because he didn't like the script. He did like Carry On Cowboy. I think he was gone on record saying was his favorite.
Well, I can see that. I mean, the gags in this are pretty well crafted, very well thought out. You know, there's a lot of great word gags, and you know, I just love that it shoots 3 guys. I wonder what they want.
Yeah, it's probably the first spoof of Fistful of Dollars.
Yeah.
It might be the first, because a lot of comedians and comedy shows and movies have spoofed that opening scene, and this may have been the first film to actually satirize it.
And you know what? Let me ask you guys this, because when I watched this movie predates Blazing Saddles by nearly a decade.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the plot is, minus the race stuff, is virtually the same.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks.
It's about,
this.
you know,
Guarantee
this town's got this crime problem. They send in a patsy who's supposed to clean up, but he's not meant to clean up. And
yeah,
you know, and it's you know, instead of it being a black guy, it's just a kind of a cucky white guy, you know, who's a sanitation expert named, you know.
But yeah, I'll guarantee Mel Brooks was watching these films. Any money? Yeah.
No, because I just was, when I watched it, I went, this is very similar in terms of plot. It's just Western spoof. The plot's the same, you know.
A lot of people will declare war on me after I say this, but I think it's actually superior to Blazing Saddles.
I knew John was going to say that.
Yeah, because, and I'll tell you why, it's made by people who actually like Westerns.
Yeah, no,
I was never convinced Mel Brooks enjoyed Westerns when I watched Blazing Saddles.
No, when you watch the Blazing Saddles feels like an attack on Westerns. Honestly, it feels like he's calling them racist or something. It kind of, you know, it kind of is a movie that, you know, people have this conception of Westerns as being movies people watch because they like watching Indians get killed or something, you know, you know, because they, you know, that's how they act like the movies are just these black and white morality tales where Indians get massacred and, you know.
Yeah, they're anti-Indian.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
And the cowboys sing and play guitar.
Yeah, and John Wayne talks about white supremacy or something. You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
and
he waves the flag, waves the American flag.
Like, yeah, while he does it. And,
right.
And explains how great America is to an Asian kid, you know, after he's just burned a village down in Vietnam.
Right.
But listen to the theme song of Carry On Cowboy, and then listen to the theme song from Blazing Saddles. Yes, Blazing Saddles one's a bit more upbeat and has the big Frankie Valli vocals, but they're kind of similar.
Yeah. Hero. Yeah.
Well, Mel Brooks likes to claim he's the first guy to do fart jokes in a movie and all that nonsense. Well, I watched Carry On Jungle, and that has all the jokes Mel Brooks claims he was the first to show on screen in the 70s, and there they are in a
Mm.
1968 Carry On film.
Yeah.
So he was just stealing from these guys.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's
You
a
heard it
lot
here
of things
first,
that
folks.
Carry On. A lot of things that Carry On did first before anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, they even talk about Carry On Nurse, which is the second one, which is not really that funny, but the ending of that film got a lot of flack in the British press.
The British press is negative, Stu.
I know, I hate to break it to everyone, but yeah.
I've never seen a less hostile country.
They're so tranquil in their coverage. Their media is so nice.
Oh man.
Yeah, but no, the end of Carry On Nurse, which is the second Carry On film from 59. For those who have seen that film and know the ending of it, it caused a bit of stink, that's for sure. And it's a harmless ending, but in 59, I can understand why people got upset about it. So they were sort of breaking ground back then. And yeah, I mean, those early ones, as I mentioned earlier, were very, very mild. It was pretty much with this one with Carry On Cowboy. Carry On Cleo, if you've got that list up in front of you, Hunter, was about 63, 64.
Carry On Cleo is 64.
Okay, so that would have been what, the one or two before this one, was it? Before Carry On Cowboy?
Carry On Cleo is the one just before Carry On Cowboy.
Right. So Cleo, they started getting a bit more sort of, dangerous of what they could get, or trying to push the envelope and see what they can get away with. And Carry On Cowboy was a big hit. Big hit. So was Carry On Screaming, the one after this, which I think is the better film. And as time went on, by the time we got to around sort of 68, 69, with sort of Carry On Doctor, Carry On Girls, they were just, everything had gone out the window. I was like, okay, well, these are basically now just sort of, sex comedies. And everything's double entendre comedy by that time. But still very funny. I think they were hysterical. I think those later ones from Carry On Cleo onwards up into and including what's the one from 72? Is it Carry On Matron?
Abroad?
Abroad's very funny. Carry On Abroad. And what's the one in 73?
Carry On Girls.
Yeah, okay, that one. 74 is Carry On England, is it?
Carry On Dick.
That's a good one as well. That's actually really good. Shit, I forgot all about Carry On Dick with Sid James as Dick Turpin. Yeah, that's a good one.
And then there's Carry On
So
Behind.
what's Carry On England?
Carry On Behind
is
comes
good.
after. Carry On England is 76.
Okay, Carry On England and Carry On Emmanuel from 78 are not good.
Yeah, and the last one's Carry On Columbus.
Yeah. So
Which
up to
is
and
way
including
later.
Carry On Behind. Geez, I remember that one. I've seen them all for sure, but I'd have to even see what the synopsis was of that one.
Ha!
It wouldn't be
There's one
much.
about Henry VIII called Carry On Henry. Oh,
Yeah.
and it's got Sid James holding a giant axe.
Yeah.
I have to see this.
History teacher
It's got,
Hunter suddenly wants to see a Carry On film.
Oh, Sid James plays Henry VIII as a lovable rogue.
Yeah, I gotta watch that with myself.
Oh,
But Carry On Cleo, I would say, is probably the luckiest production ever, because what happened was Cleopatra was filming, I think, at a like Pinewood or one of the British studios, and then the one with the Liz Taylor and Richard Burton, and then they abandoned those studios sets, moved it to Italy or wherever the hell they filmed it, and spent way too much money. So before they tore those sets down, they let the Carry On crew come in and film their Cleopatra spoof on the sets that Fox built.
They pulled a Spanish Dracula. That's what they did.
yeah, it's that is very lucky. Oh man, yeah, that's a nice bit of trivia right there, that they used the abandoned Cleopatra sets.
Yeah, you never hear about those great success stories of such celluloid theft these days.
No, you just hear about that Cleopatra nearly killed Fox or Warner, whoever it was Fox.
Right. I think it was Fox. It's a Fox thing, which I've
Um,
never sat through it. Although George McDonald Fraser, the writer who created Flashman, Harry Flashman, those novels, he wrote a book about Hollywood and history, and he said just based on historical records, you can't really say that Anthony wasn't exactly Sid James. Said he may very well have been more than Richard Burton. So
Mhm.
it's a funny thing to contemplate.
Yeah, but they had a lot of those other ones in there as well, like Carry On Up the Khyber, what's
Yeah.
that one? That's about the British invasion of India, or the British.
Yeah,
ruled-
It's during their colonization. I've seen that one,
Col-
and that
Yeah.
might be the most popular one in England, because I know some British film critic in the Sight and Sound poll of the best movies of all time put that in his top 10 just to piss
Yeah.
people off.
I believe that.
But he said he loved it. He said it's the ultimate carry-on film. So it's got that type of following. And I noticed when I saw Austin Powers 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me, they had that gag with the shadows in the tent of
Yeah.
Austin and
Oh yeah,
It's the
Whatever
most
name
famous
has
scene
it.
from that movie.
that's from Carry On Camping, I think.
right, yeah, that was completely lifted from Carry On Camping, because that was
Yeah.
the first Carry On film I saw, and because I got a region-free DVD player, I finally bought one in '99 and got a region-free one, of course. And a friend had a bunch of UK DVDs he couldn't play on his player, so he brought them over or loaned them to me, and I watched Carry On Camping and totally got into
Yeah.
the Carry On series.
There's so many in that series, and there's like on Carry On, Follow That Camel, Carry On, Don't Lose Your Head. I just look over the titles and go, wow, I forgot all about it. Carry On Dick that Hannah mentioned. I forgot all about that one, and it's actually really funny as well. So there's a lot of goodness in those Carry On films. Not all, but a lot. Quite for a series that's 31 films. There's probably about 25 really good ones in there, really funny ones that you'll get something out of at least. And Carry On Cowboy is one of them. It's been a number of years since I watched it. And I would like to know, Hannah, what your thoughts are, having not even heard of this series.
Well, I didn't really know what to expect going into this, because y'all were just like, hey, let's do the Carry On films. And you start throwing out all these titles. And I was like, what, Carry On? What's this? What's going on? Carry On. There's one that's about a cowboy, and then there's one where they're screaming. So I was kind of going, okay, so I didn't know, I didn't look it up. I just went, I'm just going to jump naked into the pool, see what happens. And, it starts off, it's like, Carry On Cowboy. And I see all these British names. I'm going, Doctor Who is in this, John Pertwee. I'm going,
Yeah.
okay, this is a British Western. So immediately my suspicions were raised. I was like, something's going to happen. So you get that typical Western opening, and he shoots those people, and he goes, wonder what they wanted. So that was a good, because going in not knowing this was a comedy or anything, and getting that was like, okay, that's pretty good. And I loved all the gags with John Pertwee's that sheriff who's blind,
In deaf,
and you got the judge who's Sid James opens that den of vice in the town, and he's really upset about the dancing girls and the naked art and stuff. It's just it wasn't it didn't really have a narrative where you're gripped or anything, but it was really I really admired how I like movies where they tell good jokes, and the jokes are good, and they subvert your expectation. They kind of it's good, kind of you set up, build, and then you kind of flip the script. They do that a lot, and it's really well done. And I was watching it going, these are a bunch of really talented comedians I've never heard of, just firing on all cylinders. So I definitely enjoyed it. It was pretty funny, but the whole time I was watching it, I went when did this come out related to Blazing Saddles? Because I'm willing to guess Blazing Saddles nipped a thing or two from this.
Most definitely. So that's the thing as well with you watching this. You basically didn't know anybody in the film besides John Pertwee.
John Pertwee was the only name I'd heard of. I Sid James looked familiar. I feel like I've seen him in something because I
There's
saw
a
him.
Wes's house.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where I'd seen him. So I recognized that guy, but
And
I
that's
was going like, I need to look and see if this guy was a tough guy actor because he could sell that too, as well as being funny.
John, what's the name of that film he did back with Alec Guinness back in the 50s?
Did he do the Lady Killers? Was he in that?
I think
I know he did some Ealing comedies or some Ealing films.
I think he was in Lavender Hill Mob.
Oh yeah, he probably was in that. I haven't seen
that's an outstanding film. That is one to watch.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I have an Ealing box
film.
set that I want to dig into and start watching, and I'm sure I'm going to see Sid in a few straight roles there.
You said Lavender Hill Mob?
Yep.
Yes, he was in that.
Yeah, he plays on TCM every now and then.
Yeah. Granted, he's not the main star of it. That is Sir Alec Guinness is the main, and that ending of Lavender Hill Mob is just freaking outstanding. I won't say what it is, but holy shit. It's a great film nonetheless.
Oh, he was also in Quatermass too.
Yeah, he's in that. He's a reporter in that, I believe.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's got a face you don't forget. I mean, once you've seen him, you remember him.
Oh, here's another movie. Never mind. No, I didn't see this. I saw the 39 Steps, but he was not in the Hitchcock one. It was a different one.
Yeah. He did do a lot of television as well.
Yeah.
He did, Hancock's Half Hour. He had Bless His House. He had, it was the Sid James show as well. Nesbitt pointed me towards something. I think it was the Sid James show, but I went to order on Amazon, but it was gone, deleted. I thought, now it goes for a small fortune. So he was pretty prolific. He was always doing something. And and he was even involved in radio back in the 50s on the Hancock's Half Hour before it became a television show, along with Kenneth Williams, who was on Hancock's Half Hour. And Williams. I've read Kenneth Williams' book called Just Williams, and listened to the audio book back when they were a thing, back on tapes back in the 80s. And he speaks quite fondly of the Carry On films, although there were times on the sets where he was miserable and not happy. And but Carry On Cowboy he speaks quite fondly of, and he said during production of that film he had a case of lockjaw so bad every day from having his mouth askew to be the judge in this film that he basically had to go home every night and wrap a towel around his head to straighten his jaw out every day. So yeah.
Well, the funny thing was they were doing those American accents, and there's a radio an episode of the radio version of Hancock's Half Hour or Hancock's radio show, whatever it was called, where they were all doing American accents, and Kenneth Williams was doing the voice that he did in Carry On Cowboy, going, "Hey, we're Americans. We went, give me a beer." Because when Brits do American accents, they make us all sound like we're from Connecticut or something.
Yeah,
and talking through our nose.
And a big thumbs down to that clown on Amazon who gave this film a 1-star rating for the Blu-ray review because I can't stand the American accents. It's a film. What are you going to do? A Western in England? It's
He gives 1-star reviews to Henry Cavill movies because he's using an American accent.
You might as well give 1-star reviews to pretty much every film because someone's doing an accent somewhere in the film most times.
Every male lead in Hollywood is British.
Yeah.
Or Australian.
Like, isn't Christian Bale British?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Didn't you know that?
I did, but I just forgot because, I don't think about him that much.
Yeah. No, if you watch him in what's that film he did with Nolan? Not Batman. The other one.
The Prestige.
The Prestige. That's him. That's a real Christian Bale. Yeah. And I mean, because you think because he had that massive rant on Terminator Salvation, when it was in an American accent, thing he's American, but he's British.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. Which is just stupid. Just idiotic.
I thought I always held the belief the cinematographer had it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Like, he probably Probably was being a pain, you know.
And Christian has to sit there and pretend he's fighting a robot or something.
Yeah.
It's got to be tough. Breaks your
Mhm.
concentration like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McG
Yeah,
sounds so nervous trying to keep him calm.
What's what happens when you get a hack filmmaker to try and take control of a situation? They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Hey, that
That's all they
Offspring,
got in Hollywood now. It's just all hacks.
that
Yeah.
Offspring, that Pretty Fly for a White Guy video though that he did, solid.
Hmm.
You know, that why don't you get a job video?
You millennials.
Yeah. Some people are just meant to be music video directors, and that's it. That's all their capabilities are.
Sure. Yeah, there's plenty of music video directors who have, you know, they try, like, they do a film and it's like, you know, you can make something that looks cool, but you can't tell a story.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? The guy who
What?
did Crow, City of Angels? Like, that
Oh,
was his
God.
only movie. But, you know, he did a lot of, like, pretty famous music videos, you know?
Right.
What's the verdict on Spike Jones?
Oh,
As a
just
filmmaker.
Spike Jones has, you know, I think he's well respected as a director
Yeah.
of movies, you know,
Well,
in the press.
What's his name was a music video? David Fincher. I mean, he made
Yeah.
the leap.
He made the leap. Michael Bay,
Russell
No, he
Mulcahy.
didn't.
Russell Mulcahy's
Russell- yeah,
like the
Russell
OG.
Mulcahy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex Proyas, maybe. But
Mm,
what's his name? There's a bunch of those from the 80s. There's some that were successful. But I feel like in the 80s, that generation of music video director, like Bay, Fincher, Proyas, Mulcahy, transition to film. Zack Snyder was also a music video director.
oh, okay.
He did like Soul Asylum videos and stuff, but I feel like the 90s guys, particularly late 90s guys, struggled to move over to movies because, you know, like what Joseph Kahn, like what he did, Torque and Detention.
Because their idea of movies was growing up watching Star Wars on videotape over and over and over again.
Yeah, it didn't seem like the people directing like Korn and Limp Bizkit videos were
No, they don't count.
were were coming over to film. And it took like Sam Bayer, you know, he did some huge music videos and he didn't come to film until he did the remake of Friday the 13th.
No, that was Nightmare on Elm Street. Huh?
Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. That was Marcus Nispel did Friday the 13th, another 90s music video director.
Yep.
Another hack.
Yeah,
well.
yeah. He did like Spider Webs for No Doubt and stuff like that.
That's where the studios find their yes men, as music videos.
Yeah.
You know, the video directors, music video directors of the 80s were basically, they were all imitating John Carpenter.
Mhm.
And I think, and some of them admitted that, and because I read that oral history of MTV, and a lot of the directors said, yeah, we were trying to get a John Carpenter look because Escape from New York was like the biggest influence on music videos for the way they look, because it was shot at night, they were using the gel lighting, and that's every music video. So
All right.
in the
What-
80s.
What's the verdict on this music video director? He does the music, but he's also a director. What's the verdict on Rob Zombie? Huh? Good?
Yeah, he did do his own videos, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
that
yeah.
Thunderkiss 65 video is cool.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, he's really good at doing videos. I think he did Dragula as well. which is a
Dragula,
great
yeah,
video.
Dragula video is cool.
When he's just being a monster kid, he's fine. When he's trying to be Toby Hooper, that's when I can't get into him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because like,
we've gone quiet on the monsters lately, haven't we? I mean, I know we've been away for a month. or
No
so.
news.
hey guys, let's go pull up, you know, the internet. Let's find some monsters news to obsess over. No, I actually like Rob Zombie's music videos quite a bit. Like, you know, Living Dead Girl, he's doing Caligari, you know, it's just, you know, a lot of it's just him being, like you said, a monster kid having a good time. And even like a movie like House of a Thousand Corpses is kind of just a music video, you know?
Yeah.
You know, but you know,
What
the guy
about this?
can't
Hang
tell a
on.
story.
Hang on a second. What about this? What about his next film after the monsters? He does. Wait for it. All right, hear me out. Carry On Dragula, huh? Yeah.
Let's do it.
He goes to the Carry On franchise. He's going to revive that.
revive that, and he'll have his
Sherry
wife
Moon
in
is
there.
Angela Douglas, even though she's not even close to.
He'll get
the
Tyler
beauty that-
Mane in there and Dan Roebuck and who else does he? Bill Moseley.
Bill Moseley.
To get all the double entendre jokes, you can have like Dracula, like a gay Dracula with AIDS, and he puts like condoms on his fangs, and he says, "I'm in a safe sucks now."
Oh man!
Actually, he can call the film "Carry On, Motherfucker." What about that, huh? Yeah,
That's probably a lyric in one of his songs.
Probably. Well, it will be if it's not by now.
Somebody send him a Carry On box set. Maybe he'll make it.
Oh, I bet you he's got it.
He's probably watched them.
Oh yeah.
They're the little comedy secret, I think, of a lot of filmmakers, and especially Mike Myers. He never professed his love of Carry On.
It's because I think they nick so many gags from it, they don't want you to know about it.
Right.
Like if you watch this movie, you'll go, well, shoot, Mel Brooks was mining this thing,
He was.
Mm-hmm.
You go, oh, shoot, Mike Myers was mining this thing, Like it's a little secret mine that people in America don't know that well.
They don't. No, they really don't. I mean, go to a person today of say 25 to 30 and say, "What's your favorite Carry On? Never seen a Carry On? What the hell's a Carry On?"
Tradition is dying, Stu.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's completely dying out.
Well, in movies, like a lot of movies, it's like they're just redoing Avengers or whatever. Like they're retreading whatever thing. And then you ask the director what his influences are, and it's like, well, I was trying to make this like Blade Runner or The French Connection, or I was watching a lot of Buñuel and Tarkovsky. They give these high, but really it's whatever they're not telling you.
Yeah.
It's like John Favreau with Iron Man 2 going, when Tony Stark's playing with that globe, I was inspired by Blow Up. I was like, oh yeah, I thought I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it into an Iron Man. Fuck, piss off. Yeah.
The Iron Man 2 was a better adaptation of Atlas Shrugged than the Atlas Shrugged movies, though.
Yeah, it's at least watchable. Just wasn't going to get that Breitbart praise.
Yeah, I remember going,
bought and paid for.
This is like an Ayn Rand screed. No wonder Jon Favreau was protecting Gina Carano. Lauren, he probably agrees with her.
Oh, he probably does.
Yeah.
John, he made Chefs. Real quick though, Jon Favreau knows to keep his mouth shut because he made Chef, and that film predates what we now call cancel culture. Before that term, I guess.
Really,
but people getting canceled. But people getting kangaroo courted on Twitter was just becoming a thing, and that movie's about a chef who gets canceled and starts a food truck. And so
I want to see this. I
gotta check that out.
Yeah, and so, like he gets humiliated online, and so he kind of decides, well, he's kind of a semi-famous chef. I think the movie is about him leaving Marvel to go make a smaller movie. Really?
Now I want to see it. How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you make me want to watch another Jon Favreau movie?
I liked it when I saw it. I remember thinking, oh, it's a charming little movie. But so Favreau, I think, he made that film. I think he knows to keep his mouth shut because I think he smelled the power of the internet to ruin people over tiny things early on in the early days of Twitter.
Yeah.
I wish Favreau had kept making films with Vince Vaughn. Those two together were just fantastic.
Yeah.
Swingers and Maid were just so good. I think these days I enjoy Swingers a lot. I think Maid's the funnier movie.
Yeah. And we all know that Vince Vaughn is not exactly a Hollywood type in his thinking.
No, not at all.
That picture of him and Mel at that awards show.
Mel, like you can see Mel
t-shirt.
You could see Mel performing for the camera going.
Yeah.
Like just going, oh, the camera's cutting to me. I need to look like I'm intrigued. And Vince just is like
a death stare. Yeah.
Does anything sum up us against them more than that photo?
Oh yeah.
In the current awful Hollywood, where let's face it, movies are dead. It's just nobody's admitting it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When goddamn Spider-Man saves the industry, the theatrical business, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I have not seen, by the way.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. My kids went and saw it, but I just dropped them off and picked them up after the film. I could not sit through a 2.5 hour Spider-Man film. No.
You mean you don't like movies where every character sounds the same? Like Joss Whedon, they're all smarmy and have no they're all full of jokes and one-liners and zingers and sarcastic comebacks.
And they're all and then make references to stuff from our generation. Hey man, who are you, Kurt Loder? You know.
Kurt Loder.
Like I tried watching like the Joss Whedon TV crap like back in the 90s, like Buffy. I was like, why does every character talk like Fletch?
Yeah.
Like every character is a smart ass. Doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah,
Cheerleader,
everybody.
Jock. Everybody's got one-liners. They're witty. It's just stupid. I can't deal with this.
He doesn't have any sense of character. You know?
No.
Speaking of
It's
that, R.I.P. Johnny Z.
Oh yeah, Johnny Z
Yeah.
brought us Metallica, King's X, Anthrax,
and a lot of Eddie Trunk stories.
And yes.
Hey, me and Johnny Z.
We signed Ace because of him.
Oh yeah, that's right. He brought us the Alcoholic Ace solo album.
Which I do like that Frehley's Comet first one a lot. The second one, no.
Ace, Megaforce put out like Trouble Walking, right?
I don't know if it was them or Atlantic. I don't know if I don't know. I'd be lying if I bet Trouble Walk. I'm not too sure. The first two I definitely know.
Troubled Walk.
It could be Megaforce, but Atlantic's ringing a bell.
Yeah, Trouble Walking was Megaforce and Atlantic. So
Well, all I know is Eddie Trunk got run off the road because he was playing that out loud in his car stereo.
yeah, you know, he was listening to Kiss, and so people ran him off the road because they didn't like rock music.
Yeah, they were like some Foreigner fans or Journey.
They were a bunch of. Really, Eddie Trunk is racist against Italians because they were probably disco listeners who ran.
Yeah, bro, just like that Detroit Rock City, that scene where they take on the Guidos.
Yeah,
it was inspired by Eddie Trunk's life, I'm sure.
Kiss will never make a disco song.
No, never.
They weren't running Eddie Trunk off the road because he was listening to Kiss. They were doing a public service and trying to run Eddie Trunk off the road to get rid of Eddie Trunk.
They said he's going to be an annoying DJ one day.
Yeah, he could have been listening to Supertramp. They wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, he probably was.
Yeah.
He probably was. He just pretends he was listening to Saxon or UFO.
They went, that guy drops a lot of names on the radio. Let's get him.
Does he even drive a car? I don't know. I don't know if I can believe that.
Who knows? Did you see?
Hey, someone come to my house and catalog my CDs. Can't pay you, but.
Hey, Stu, I did listen to a show the other day. Did you see who he interviewed?
Oh, not Tobias?
No, not Tobias Forkham. No. Blackie Lawless.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was a long interview, too. It was like an hour and a half or something.
Oh, wow.
Didn't him and Blackie have a falling out or didn't get along for years or something?
I don't think so. He said that, you know, for 10 years, he he was like, well, I'll come on the show when I'm ready. Cause, you know, I'm in some of these Facebook groups and they share memes about like W.A.S.P never touring North America, stuff like that. Like they'll tour Europe, but not North America. And, but now he came on this show to announce a North American W.A.S.P tour, which is the first one in like over 10 years, I think. So, and they're touring with Armored Saint, another band that never tours.
I've seen Armored Saint.
Yeah.
I saw him here with they opened up for Death Angel.
Yeah, they used to tour, but they like John Bush like stopped touring to raise his kids, but I think they're older now, so he's going back on the road.
Yeah.
But
Monday.
For the Texas dates, they've got Michael Schenker Group 2 on top of that.
Oh boy! Speaking of someone who's always drunk, Michael Schenker. That'll be interesting to watch. He is batshit nuts, that guy. He's just insane.
Oh, they on his podcast, he was telling stories about Michael Schenker, like taking Chris Holmes's motorcycle and breaking the sound barrier with it in LA.
I actually watched that Chris Holmes document. I think I mentioned it. Mean Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eddie asked him about the allegations he made about not being paid and stuff. And Blackie was just like, we came to an agreement. He signed papers, like he goes
an NDA. Yeah.
Well, he just goes, we came to an agreement and signed it. I don't know what he's talking about. And he goes, I haven't seen the movie, by the way. So
yeah, it's just basically Chris Holmes in France with his wife, just vaping. It's just,
so instead of chugging pretend alcohol in the pool, he's chugging vape. Air.
It looks like a London fog throughout that whole film. It's just him and his wife vaping everywhere, I think.
Have you heard any of the music?
Habit.
Yeah. Have you heard any of the music he's done lately?
Oh, yeah.
It's just such garbage, man.
Bad.
It's
so bad.
Terrible. You kind of wonder why people are like, oh, we hope he gets back into W.A.S.P. I'm like, really?
No. Because we got kill, fuck, die out of him in 99 back in W.A.S.P. and no thanks. That's bad. That is horrible. That's up there with Danzig 5, Black Acid Devil is the one.
Yeah, it's like Danzig goes, okay, I'm tired of Rick Rubin making me do this stripped down stuff. I'm just going to go so far in the opposite direction. Like, it's like he went nuts. Like not having Rick Rubin sitting cross-legged behind him, sucking down tofu dogs, telling him he can't, telling him he's got to strip that sound back, make it more raw,
Can't sound like Robert Johnson. Sound like Mississippi Fred McDowell.
Yeah, that was just. I remember listening to that. I picked that thing up when it came out, and I think it was '96. That album. I had my mate in the car with me. He just looks at me about 2 songs and goes, "What the fuck is this shit?" I said, "Oh, this is bad."
Oh, I remember when I was getting into like Danzig and the Misfits, I noticed I couldn't find that CD anywhere because I was looking into his filmography and I went, "Oh, there's this one," and I went, "I wonder what this sounds like." I didn't know anything about it, and I think I called some place that had used CDs and I went, "Do you have Danzig 5 Black Acid Devil?" And I think the guy who answered the phone, he goes, "Why?" He goes, "I'm just warning you, that album's not very good."
Yeah, I found it in a used CD store pretty quick after its release. Like I heard the song. I was living in Florida at the time and actually heard "Sacrifice," the title track, on the radio. Yeah. And they were pushing it because he was ripping off 9 Inch Nails, which was the hot sound at the time.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of Marilyn Manson as well. And I think I got that at a used CD store for like $3, which was completely unheard of for a brand new used CD, but they were trying to get rid of them.
Well, and didn't he sign with like some company that Disney was the parent company for to do that record?
Yeah, it was like Hollywood Records or something.
Yeah. And I remember there was reading that some people were like, Disney signs on satanic rocker Danzig,
And then he was saying, "Look, I know more about the Bible than you do."
Oh, see, I know more about that because I got my my Gnostic Gospels over here, and I'm going to read you this story from this book that they don't want you to know about from the Bible.
Yeah. Hitler's werewolves.
In 10 minutes. Once I've had my French onion soup, I'll be back to read the last chapters of the Bible.
Oh man, Danzig's bookshelf, one of the greatest treasures an artist has ever given us,
without a doubt.
That's up there. That's up there with Chris Holmes pretending to be drunk in his pool. Yeah.
If you want a real laugh, find the old Veronica comic books and look up the letters pages where Danzig responds to readers. That's the funniest stuff. Yes. It's just like, it's him trying to be like Stan Lee, except,
Does he say like Excelsior or something?
Nah, he had some other thing, but he was just, he's a meathead. So like, if you've ever seen him on stage, he has no idea how to banter between songs.
Oh no, the one time I saw him live, he was visibly pissed the whole time at something, and he was unhappy with the stage design, and he was like chucking stuff around, and they were having issues with sound the whole night because like Des Farfara's band Devil Driver opened, and they were having some sound issue, and they had to stop the show, and Des was arguing with the sound guy from the stage, and then Danzig was having issues, and he took his mic apart and was like making faces at them during like one of like, what's his bucket, the guy from Prong's guitar. Yeah, I guess it was Tommy Victor. It was his guitar solo. Like he would take the mic apart and go. And then at one point he jumped off stage to like scuffle with a security guard and started yelling. It was one of the wildest shows I've ever been to. Like, oh man.
When I saw him live when it was a Danzig show, and he looked like Michael Chiklis from The Shield with spray on black hair to make it look long, because he had a clear like balding, thinning hair problem on the top, and they wouldn't let anybody bring in their cell phones.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was crazy because they didn't want anybody taking photos of him.
I remember this guy like deliberately tried to start something with him, going up and shooting with his cell phone, and like there's footage of Danzig like punching him, like, knocking his phone out of his hand. Just remember the guy who knocked him out on that video is dead. So really,
is he?
Yeah, that guy passed away.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Danzig.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Is like that guy died. Like that's what he was most famous for.
Yeah,
Danzig put a curse on him.
He and that thing
put a curse on you, motherfucker.
Yeah, that thing kind of looked like they were planning that. I think
it looks somewhat planned. It's hard to say.
Northside Kings are undefeated. Something like that.
It was. They knew they were goading him into a fight.
Yeah.
There's somebody in England right now who go, oh cool, Carry On Cowboy episode. And they're probably thinking, don't these guys edit, or don't they know how to keep a straight focus on something?
No, we can't title this Carry On Midnight Movie Cowboys. So
they should what was it? Carry On Tangent. That's what it should be called.
Carry On Tangent.
Carry On Podcast.
Yeah. It should be. But yeah, I mean, there's not a great deal to say about this thing. To me, I think it runs out of steam towards about the last 20 minutes.
Yep. Oh yeah, I was kind of ready for it to end when it was over, I think that's, as I said earlier, there wasn't a really strong narrative to drive it. It's just kind of a generic Western narrative, and that's what I think was missing to make those last 20 minutes more compelling. But But it's still a funny movie. I think this series, I mean, I want to check out more entries in it. Like I want to go see that Henry VIII one. That sounds hilarious.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Carry On Dick really is one of the funnier ones.
And that was the last one with Sid James, as if I'm recalling correctly.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah. There is an actual Carry On TV series called Carry On Laughing, but I think it's just a compilation.
It is it's original half-hour sketches, because I have the box set with all the episodes collected, and on the Carry On box set with all the movies, they have episodes of the show as like bonus features. But it's a shot on camera, like multi-camera sitcom setup. But it's them acting out stories that could only be 30 minutes. So if they run out of jokes by 15 minutes, they probably shouldn't have done that story. But it's pretty decent. Like they did, I can't name I don't know the stories that well that they're spoofing, because I guess they're popular in British literature. But if there's like Orgy and Bess would be the title of one. Just all the double entendre stuff they could get away with by British TV in the 70s, they could get away with a lot. There was no real restriction on that sort of stuff. But they're okay. The jokes don't work as well on video for whatever reason. It's something about film. It's something about, because the movies look like professional movies and they're doing all these cheap gags. That's what makes it funny. So when you watch the sketch comedy show, you're just watching a cheap gag show, with costumes.
I'll tell you what you get your hands on, if you can. I think you still might be able to get it from Amazon in the UK, is the Carry On Christmas specials. I have those and they are hysterical.
Yeah, I like the first two.
Yeah.
Well, if we know
the last two aren't that great, but the first two are pretty funny.
Well, if we know anything about the British, they love their Christmas specials.
Yeah, well, they do the Christmas Carol with Sid James as Scrooge. So
every season of Doctor Who has to have like the Christmas invasion.
The talent Christmas Carol.
Oh, here's
Steptoe and Son did it. Hancock's Half Hour did it, I believe. Love Thy Neighbor did it. They all did Christmas specials.
This week, the Doctor.
Staple.
This week, the Cybermen learn the true meaning of Christmas.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean
Master just tries to steal Christmas.
It doesn't mean they convert to Christianity. It just means they learn to be nice to people, like Scrooge.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But the interesting thing is the only place where they've actually ripped off the titles is Hong Kong, because these movies are very popular. Were very popular in Hong Kong. So you have Carry On Wise Guy with I think that had Gordon Liu in it, and it was like Warrior from Shaolin retitled. They had Carry On Pickpocket, which was directed by John Woo. They would just do direct Carry On lifts, and they probably would steal gags out of them as well. But when you watch certain Hong Kong comedies from like the 70s, there's a definite Carry On influence, especially in the Lucky Stars films in the 80s.
Do you think the Hui brothers were influenced by the Carry On films in some way?
Yeah. They're influenced by, because if I watch them now, I'll probably see where they might have taken a Carry On gag here and there. There's definitely some aspirations there, some influence.
And since that was a colony of Great Britain, it makes sense that those would be influential there. You know?
And I kind of realized that might be why I don't like Korean movies. Because, everybody loves South Korean films. Like, they're just the hippest, greatest thing.
But, like, the thing about South Korean films is they're all, like, dark and cynical, Well,
I've even tried their action comedies. And the problem is they're influenced by American movies and Hong Kong films from the 70s and 80s. And, all the things that we dig. The problem is they're not influenced by what influenced those guys. They're not going that far back. And so there's just kind of it's been watered down too much what they're stealing from. Like, they steal from French movies and stuff, but they steal from La Femme Nikita. They're not stealing from Melville's La Samurai or something like that.
Well, it's kind of like with some of these, like one of the Korean movies I saw that was a comedy. I couldn't even get through it. Was The Good, the Bad, the Weird.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was so bad. And I remember going, like, I feel like these people are just doing Quentin Tarantino, like aesthetics with something else.
Quentin Tarantino inspired by Sergio Corbucci.
Yeah, I just remember the few of those, like some of the South Korean thrillers I liked, but the comedies I've tried to watch, I've just like Good, the Bad, the Weird was like 3 hours long, and it wasn't funny, and the action was kind of meh, but it was, it was kind of they tried to sell it as like, oh, here's the next cult film.
Isn't Old Boy Korean?
Yeah. That's South Korea.
Yeah. South Korean, yeah.
Because right now the South Korean stuff is big, but it was big in the aughts because of Old Boy,
Yeah.
And there was a big glut of South Korean movies, and that's when Good, the Bad, the Weird came out. You got stuff like The Host and Memories of Murder.
Parasite?
Parasite's
up one of the later ones.
I think but that director who did Parasite is from that generation of filmmakers.
Right.
And Squid Game, nobody will shut up about Squid Game.
I haven't seen it.
I watched it.
I have no interest. I just don't care.
I watched it. I enjoyed it.
You did you now?
Yeah.
Did you now, Bert?
I did.
All right. Is it like Battle Royale? Is it similar to Battle Royale or no?
It is. It's not like people running around killing each other. They play these games, and like children's games, like playground games, and if you lose, you die. But it was compelling. Like, it kept my interest.
So they took it Outer Limits episode concept, stretched it out into an entire series.
100%, absolutely. Right. It's nothing new. It's nothing innovative, but I thought the characters were well done. I thought, and it held my attention. It's that binge model where you go, oh, I want to see what happens, but
each episode ends on a cliffhanger. Somebody important dies.
I don't. I know they're going to do a second season. I have no idea how they I don't really want them to do it because I know.
Do they do any Taekwondo or Hapkido, Hunter? That might be fun.
No, no Taekwondo or Hapkido. There's
not even exploiting Korean martial arts in their exploitation product.
No.
Weird.
And it was also quite funny too. Like there was some good dark humor in there. But no, I enjoyed it. It wasn't, it wasn't a waste of time. It wasn't Tiger King,
Right. Was that a waste of time? I didn't even see that.
I saw the first episode and I went, I don't need to see any more. I get it.
Yeah, it looks like that sort of thing.
All right. Well, we got any more to say about Carry On Cowboy?
All right, I think we're done. You want to rate this thing?
Yeah.
All right, Stu, what do you give it? This is
I'm going to give it a 6.5. I think I had more of a love for it before again watching it today. Not to say I disliked it. It just did start to run a bit thin towards the end. And really, we're talking about the television show, which was not really a TV show, but this could have been trimmed down. Some of those Carry On films could have been trimmed down to a 30-minute TV show. That'd be an interesting experiment to take this film and cut it down to 30 minutes. You could probably do it.
Oh yeah, you could.
So, yeah, like you take that, you take Carry On Henry. Some of the later ones could be cut down to 30 minutes. I mean, even some of the earlier ones, maybe. They're the ones I watch the least, like Carry On Teacher, Carry On Constable, Carry On Cabbie, etc.
They hadn't really found
Carry On
the
Jack
groove yet.
No, they hadn't. They were still feeling their way through things and getting cast members because they had Leslie Phillips, who was in some of the early ones and disappeared in the later ones because he's good, but he didn't suit the Carry On crew. They got a different writer. So yeah, it'll change. But yeah, I'll give it a 6.5. I'll say it's worth a watch. I would say honestly that Carry On box set that you can get from the UK is pretty cheap with all the 30 movies. The That's Carry On documentary from 78 with Kenneth Williams and Barbara Windsor hosting it. And the TV shows are scattered. So you get a lot in there. And the document and the films, I believe a lot of them come with audio commentaries as well. This one has got an audio commentary by Angela Douglas on there. So it's good to have the commentaries that we've got because these guys and girls are not getting any younger. We've lost nearly all of them. Angela Douglas is she's now 80. Jim Dale's now in his mid-80s. So, we're down to the last few. And after that, they're all gone. And, yeah. And a lot of real quick, a lot of them actually had a lot of problems offset. Sid James had his chronic gambling. Charles Hawtrey was manic depressive with alcohol problems. Kenneth Williams was depressive with problems, taking pills, etc. Joan Sims, who played Belle in this film, she became an alcoholic and died. And so yeah, a lot of sort of personal problems with not all, but a lot of the main cast from these movies.
I notice a pattern: British people drinking too much. Are you sure they're British?
So Australians, we're all part of the Commonwealth.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you Yanks have got that as well. With your tailgate parties and shit.
Yeah.
And your spring break.
That's right.
Yeah.
So John, what do you give?
I give it I'm gonna still give it a 6.5. I think the first hour of it is really funny. And I was like, man, this might be the best Western spoof ever. But then that last 20 minutes or so, it just, boy, it's got a whole, let's get this over with. We're out of jokes. Let's see what we could do. If they don't really do much with it, it's a little disappointing. But I enjoyed it. It's always good to watch one of these every few months and kind of be reminded what inspired a lot more people than they admit. Recently, I watched a Q&A with Pete Rogers, the creative producer of this series. And they asked him why he never paid these actors that much. He never paid them more than like 5,000 pounds or something for the roles.
All we got was scale pay. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, well, because once you once you like pay an artist too much, they're intolerable because they're just awful people. Because I don't know why anybody listens to artists. They're absolutely ridiculous people.
Well, and then it becomes, if they had done, if, you know, to his point, the series probably would not have been as prolific.
Right. And it's a job. It's like you go in, you act, you do this, and you're done. You know, you're not saving the whales, saving the earth, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you don't need more money. And it's just like, you know, it's a job. Treat it like a job.
Well, and it's kind of like, as well, it's kind of reminds me of, you know, Jackie Chan was sitting around going, I'm ready to do Rush Hour 3. Just give me the call.
Yeah.
Show up. But it took them like 10 plus years to make Rush, which was a bad movie. You know, nobody wanted Rush Hour 3 with Roman Polanski. But, you know, the reason it took so long to make that movie was Chris Tucker wanted more money. Chris Tucker didn't do a single film in between Rush Hour 2 and 3.
Yeah.
He just was sitting around going, hey man, I want more money. You know,
he's he's on the Epstein flight logs quite a bit.
Really?
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think that. I always thought Chris Tucker was gay.
So did I. Always did. Especially after Fifth Element.
Yeah. 100%.
And who's to say he wasn't? If you know what I mean. You know, who says Epstein wasn't appealing to that particular, thing?
Who knows? But just getting back to what you were saying about how to them it was just a job. It was because, well, they wouldn't go off and do endless promotion and TV interviews and trek the globe. They would do it, piss off, get their money, and go to a TV show or another movie or a stage play. They were always doing something. They weren't sitting around waiting for the next Carry On film because who knows when that will come in.
Right.
So they would just keep working. And basically they do it, forget it, and move on. And okay, we'll do another Carry On. Yep, who's on board? These days it's all about promotion and getting on, doing breakfast morning show interviews and blog interviews. I mean, who cares? Everyone knows the friggin' movie's out. And movies wouldn't take so much of a goddamn hit if they weren't spending millions on promotion. If they were spending 2 or 3 instead of 50 or 60 million, that's insane.
Well, they've gotten to a point where they have to make 300 million to make a profit. And it'd be some crappy comedy that somehow costs 100 million to make or something. It's just like the Judd Apatow comedy, Funny People. It costs like $60 million.
And it's 3 hours long.
And it's shot in some guy's house in his backyard. And it's a $60 million movie.
Ridiculous. That you could have taken, if somebody was, look, I'm no financial guru, but if someone had taken, right, we're going to be spending $20 million on promotion. What if we spend 4? Take the other 16 million and we get 8 filmmakers and give them 8 new up and coming filmmakers, give them $2 million each. Go ahead, make a film. You got 8 films to play with to see if you can make more money.
So you mean what the Grindhouse Weinstein movie should have been?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yes.
Instead of being over bloated, expensive, made to look.
Why couldn't you get Freddie Williamson on board for that? Why couldn't you got Jim Brown on board? So look, time to change. It was 20 years later before they were doing this one to other Grindhouse, or 30 years later. But man, just do this, get it in, and you can do it on the cheap. Larry Cohen was doing those things on the cheap with the blaxploitation stuff in the 70s. So why not get him as a sort of advisor of some sort? Don't get advice from Weinstein and Rodriguez and Tarantino. They're just going to blow money out the water.
Yeah.
And look, they took a bath in the end, financially.
So John,
I really enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it lost money hand over fist.
So John, did you give a rating?
Yeah, 6.5. Same as Tim.
For me, I'd give it a 6. I thought it was good comedy. Maybe wore out its welcome. Didn't keep momentum, but I liked it enough to go, seek out some other ones in the series.
Go check out Carry On Screaming next. That's probably the best one because that is the Carry On's love letter to Hammer horrors of the 60s. It's great.
Yeah.
No Sid James. He's not in it, but It has Kenneth Williams and Fenella Fielding as the crazy brother and sister who run the haunted house. It's great. It's so much fun. And looks great too. Really well filmed. Beautifully shot movie. So and then dive into the sort of bawdier ones like Carry On Camping and Girls, and
I'm keen to see the Henry and Cleo ones too.
I'll put it this way, Hunter. It's like the Zatoichi series. There's not what you would call great movies in there, but there are it's very consistent, mostly good ones.
Yeah,
that's the best way to look at it.
Every time I see a Zatoichi movie, I go, "Yeah, that was pretty good."
Yeah, that's pretty much what a Carry On film. Oh, that was good. That was funny.
That was good.
I laughed.
Okay, I'll watch another one.
Yeah,
that's kind of in a way that's ideal.
Carry On Henry is funnier than Carry On Cleo. Carry On Cleo is fine.
I'm just interested in
very funny.
What they did with the Cleopatra sets.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
It'll probably be the next one I watch. I'm gonna watch Carry On Henry as well. I've never seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I've only seen Carry On Cleo in like a pan and scan videotape version. So I've always wanted to see like a widescreen. And then Carry On Henry I've never seen. It didn't get bootlegged around here in the double O's. Some American labels would have bootlegs of British PAL tapes, and they were pretty bad looking.
Carry On Dick is funny too. I now remember it. It is very funny. Yeah, I'm gonna watch another one tonight. Actually, one of those later ones. Carry On Girls is the most insane one because it's literally just a beauty pageant of 25 women in a hotel run by Sid James. So it's going to be full on. And yeah,
that one's pretty funny. I watched that one on the set.
Yeah,
that was like the first one I watched on the set. I think Stu recommended it.
Carry On Girls, yeah.
I said, hey, I got the Carry On set. You were like, oh, watch Carry On Girls.
Yeah. Might go that one tonight, I think. Let's see. Seems I'm off work sick. Might look sick, but I'm not feeling too good.
All right. So, let us know what you think of the Carry On films. If you check them out, let us know. Hit us up on the Discord or in the comments here or on Facebook, wherever.
Had you even heard of the Carry On series until this?
Are you familiar with it? What do you think? If you checked it out because of the show, let us know. Yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anything else before we go, guys?
I am doing an appearance sometime soon on Watch This Movie. They've asked me to go over there.
Cool.
To do Crocodile Dundee, and I'm just
good.
I told Eric, I said, I really don't want to watch that movie again, but
I'm glad you're doing it for him. Take one for the team.
And then he goes, John gave it a 4-star review. I said, John's just trolling. He goes, no, he's serious. He really liked it. I thought, what? I still believe John's trolling. It's no way.
No, I gave 4-star. Watch it with the family. Because I bought the double feature DVD for like $6 off Amazon or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'll get it. I just want to see the first one. I hate Crocodile Dundee 2. I tried watching Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles. I said, I remember I did like the first one when I saw it in a theater. And we watched it with the family and we really enjoyed it. Because it's a fascinating look at what people thought New York was back then. And it's back to being today. Mm-hmm. A city of junkies, pimps, whores, queers, and very it's like this very negative Abel Ferreira type view of New York.
So it's basically that Manitoba's Wild Kingdom song.
Yeah, it's the Dictator song, New York, New York. It's
also, everybody, I forgot to mention, I'd like to welcome the newest member of the MMC, Travis Bickle, to the group.
Well, speaking of New York, I'm probably going to be on Low Res again soon.
Nice.
So, I'll let the audience know whenever that drops.
Doing a Jack Nicholson retrospective, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're going to look at the phenomenon of mumblecore films in the aughts,
Hans, you're from Mumbleland. What do you think?
Hans, you're in the Philippines. What do you think?
Mumblecore, what was it? Oh, those. Yeah.
Stu, like
Open 5.
Open 5. Yeah, that's one I'm gonna bring up. Like Joe Swanberg, Kentucky Oddly. They're very similar to those British kitchen sink dramas, you know,
the Mike Lees,
but they're just more millennial, you know. So
yeah.
We're gonna talk about that kind of spate of movies that kind of began with Joe Swanberg and people like that, and kind of ended I think that ended with Lena Dunham. I think like stuff like Tiny Furniture, that's when those people started getting careers, and that sort of ecosystem died. But
that's when you need that Karnak the Magnificent, in the was it Johnny Carson?
Yeah.
Tiny Furniture, something Lena Dunham can't sit on.
Sim Salabim.
All right.
Anyway, all right, guys. Well, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna go ahead and say adios.
All right, peace out.